So Sue, we're at the end of 2019 now. When you look back on the year with the women's under-16s, how's the year gone for the team?
Yeah, the year has gone very well. I'm sort of at the start of a new campaign now, but if I go back to January, it was mid 2018-2019 campaign. I'd held a number of camps at that point, a number of trials to narrow the squad down to a working squad of 24, 25. It was my first year with that age group, so I'd had a lot of girls in early on, so I could see the level and give everybody a chance. We then played some behind closed doors friendly games, I guess, against our under-15s, against ourselves. And then we went and played Belgium in two double-header friendly away, and that went really, really well. It was the first taste, I guess, at that level for most of the girls. We drew both those games. We should have won the first one well, and we actually were lucky to draw the second one. So sort of two mixed performances, but really pleasing and gave me a lot of food for thought. And it was also good preparation for the girls then for our UEFA development tournament, which took place about a month later in the Czech Republic. There we faced a very strong USA team, and which is strange for a UEFA tournament, but they got an invite. We had the hosts, the Czech Republic, and we had Belgium again. So we had some really, really good performances there and some big wins. At the same time then the USA beat us well. They beat three teams to win that. But overall, that was really, really, it was a great campaign, and it's really pleasing to see many of those girls now take the next step on the international ladder, which is my challenge, I guess, or is my job. I'm there trying to prepare these players to give them a taste of international football. So it was great to see so many go on to our under-17s and to currently be part of James Scott's squad.
How have you found the transition? Obviously, when you were managing the senior team, it was a very results-oriented business. Now you're probably in a development business that you need to make sure that the girls that are going from the 16s up to the 17s are the right players for James or whoever the head coach may be to try and qualify for European Championships. And I know the 16s you had last year, a lot of those players went on to James's team this year. And I suppose that's a benefit to you and your backroom staff, that's showing that you have to trawl all around the country to find these players, but you do seem to be finding the right players.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the first part of your question there, the differences between working with the national team and this age group, there's a huge difference. Obviously, you're right, the national team, it's all about results, it's about winning, it's about trying to qualify for major tournaments. That's the ultimate goal at that level. When you go back to this age group, it's very much developmental age. It really is the first step for most of these girls. I know they play with our school's international team too, but I guess this is the first age group that we have, at the international age group. So you're trying to educate the girls, you're trying to teach them the principles of play, you're trying to educate them about looking after themselves properly, you're trying to get them into a structured environment. So, when they're in with you for camp, they might be at a team meeting, then they have to eat properly, pre-match meal, then they might go and either have a training session or a game. Then there's video analysis later on. You're giving them information on how they should eat properly, how they should sleep properly, how they need to report and manage injuries, all that type of stuff. At the same time, you're trying to encourage them to critique themselves, critique the performance, to be able to understand, the basics of what you're looking for and where it went right or maybe how it could improve. So it's an all collaborative effort. So that is absolutely very different, and really the ultimate aim is to try and prepare them, as you said, for the next step, which is our under-17s when it becomes competitive. Of course, you're still developing players at under-17, and the ultimate aim is to develop all our underage players to try and get them to the national team level. But at under-16s, there's no pressure to win games. Under-17, there's not a huge pressure, but obviously, you want to win more when you're playing competitively. So very different challenges, and it's lovely actually working with this age group again.
I suppose one of the funny things about speaking to you now at the end of the year is when we're looking back on the calendar year, we're actually looking over two separate teams. Sure. And whereas we've spoken a lot about the team in the first half of the year, your focus is now on the current under-16s, and I know you've had numerous assessment days and there's been behind closed doors matches, but looking ahead at this team now, they've got a very busy sort of spring. They're off to Andorra and off to Italy, and hopefully with that the same as the previous under-16 learned. it isn't a result-oriented business, but hopefully they can learn a lot from those games.
Yeah, it's not a results-oriented business, but they do need to play games to get experience at this level, or to get experience of playing matches and to be in those situations where it is results-oriented. And I suppose when I did the end-of-year review on the campaign with our high-performance director, Ruud Doctor, one of the things Ruud wanted to see was more matches. So that's absolutely what we've tried to provide. We've had a couple of games to date so far. We've played the North in a behind closed doors game. We've played England in a couple of games, and in the new year we have, besides the UEFA mini tournament, we're also entering another tournament in Italy where we get another 4 games. In between that, I expect we'll play the schools on a behind closed doors game, and possibly the North again. So it is about, as well as educating these players and teaching them the principles of play, and teaching them all about being an elite athlete from a holistic point of view, they do need games as well, and that's where you see players and that's where they get educated. So yes, I'm speaking about a new team now. We are sort of in the middle of that process now, and it's going to be an exciting first 6 months of the year.
Because even looking at the 3 teams in the UEFA development tournament, it's Andorra, Romania, Iceland. So you have a Scandinavian team, an Eastern European team, a team from the centre of Europe that's a small nation. It's 3 different challenges, and I know like people will say if you're from a different part of Europe you'll play a different style, but that is what the girls will see. They won't be going in playing the same team day after day after day. They'll have different issues that they'll have to put up with in this tournament.
Absolutely, and those are like, they're 3 great matches for us to have. We don't know anything about Andorra. In general terms in football, they're often the minnows of the game, but you know, we're not really sure what they're going to be like at this age group. And I suppose the little difficulty we have is because there are not many matches, or there's not a defined tournament, we don't often get to see our opposition beforehand, so we can analyse the team for the players. But so that's one of the challenges. But you know, Romania, we would know maybe what way they'd play, and Iceland, absolutely, they're a Nordic country as such, and they've been very strong in women's football over the last few years. Their underage squads are getting stronger all the time, as has their women's team. So 3 very, very different challenges for us. It was the same last year. We played Belgium, who we'd played in friendly game previously, so we knew a bit about them. But the USA, I mean, that was a completely different challenge, and they're all about physicality and power and pace, but they've added huge technical ability to their game also. And then we had the host, the Czech Republic. So yeah, playing the different games, different nations is fundamental to these girls' learning and their experience that they'll need when they go up to the next level.
You're in a position here in the FAI where you oversee women's football, but looking specifically at the international age group, how is Irish underage football? You're seeing the girls coming in at the first stage in their international journey, and hopefully in the next coming years, some of the players that you're currently under your tutelage will go on and represent the senior team. But in general, how is Irish underage football?
It's thriving. It's growing all the time. Actually, where we have the problem in terms of the drop-off is at the adult age, and I think that's probably just you know, a worldwide issue, I guess, with adults not playing as much sport in general as they used to. But in terms of the underage, like, we've more and more girls now coming into the game through our grassroots programs. We've more and more girls. There's more opportunities in leagues. There's more opportunities in clubs. There's more schoolboy leagues and schoolboy clubs taking girls on. There's more. The girls' leagues are getting stronger. Our emerging talent program is seeing the younger girls are getting better all the time. I mentioned the introduction of our under-17 league. That's absolutely helping our best players. So it's in a good place. The numbers are growing all the time. The standards are improving, and then after that, it's up to us to keep providing opportunities. Whether a girl wants to be an elite player or whether she just wants to play recreational, that's what our job is to try and do now. But yes, it's absolutely in a good place, and the future looks bright.